Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. On this episode, we are going to take you through the installation of the Gen 2 deck drawer system in your vehicle. And also coming up not long after this one will also be a separate video showing the differences between the Gen 1 and Gen 2 and if it's worth the upgrade for you. So one of the first things you want to do obviously is you want to unpackage everything, make sure nothing's broken, make sure your box that it came in, nothing is damaged. If it is, report it to deck. As you can see here, I got the pretty long drawers because I got a 6.5 foot bed. These are the biggest drawers they make. If you have an 8 foot bed, like in a 3/4 ton, these drawers are still the same length. It's just that it stops short in your bed and you usually have room in front of it for the deck cross box or any other toolbox that you can fit between that gap. So these are the biggest drawers, which is really nice. You want to lay out your vertical supports and the orientation that's going to go in the back of your truck. So you can see here, I got you see the threads there. That's where the wheels go in for the drawers. And you can see them all lined up at the back here. And that's what's going to help us, that's where the roller wheels go into. So this is how you want to lay it out. And your first steps is, you can see there's 4 bolts here. They're in a separate bag. And on your verts, you want to make sure that these things are level with the top of your, the top piece, the plastic piece that goes on top. Your deck itself, you can see here, you got to add 1 bolt into here. You got to add 1 bolt into here. Kind of get these level set up. Lay on your top piece, which you'll see here momentarily. Get these all level and then tighten these down after the fact. Just don't tighten them down right from the beginning. So we're gonna get these bolts in these slots put in. You got 1 there, you got 1 there, and the same thing on the other side. 1 there in the back, 1 in the front. We're gonna get these all put in. With these nuts here, you're gonna need a 3/8 driver ratchet, 7/16 for the nut side. And they recommend doing basically hand tools for this install, but this is my 3rd deck drawer I'm putting in system, so I just always use power tool, but use them with a clutch. If you're not used to using power tools, do not use an impact gun on this, because you can see you're threading into brass inserts or into the plastic itself, and you can strip them out and then you are kind of screwed in a way. They do give you new inserts to use, brass inserts if you screw up, but basically do not over tighten these things. You're just snugging everything up. Use a drill driver with a clutch on it, or just use a ratchet or hand tools to get this done. So let's get this thing installed. It's super fast and I'll show you here momentarily. We'll go through the steps, and really none of this between putting this plastic on and this stuff tightening down and sliding this stuff into your truck. It's super fast, guys. It's not that hard. Maybe because this is my 3rd one, I just know how simple it is, but it is fast, guys. So let's get on with it. So I want to show you here, these ones here for this one, this one, this one, and the one in the back, they actually have the nut welded on to this. So you're only adding this 1 nylon nut to the back of that 1 3/8 bolt. And that's the only 2 you got to really get behind to retighten. But you just want to snug these up, get them sit there so you can sit your top plastic on, the top piece on top, your deck itself, the decking, across this, and get things lined up so we can get this attached to this 1 vertical support. And then we're gonna get everything set up with the deck on this half, the deck on this half, make sure all these things here are level. Everything's kind of tied together, just don't screw down the middle. Then we're actually gonna place this into the truck and this into the truck. And it's always easier with 2 people, but I do it by myself all the time, and I'll just show you. Just gotta man up, guys. So, and I'm older and I'm getting weak, and if I can do it, you can do it. The reason why you wanna leave this stuff loose, they tell you just to leave the 3 front and back loose. I kind of leave everything, for the most part, kind of loose, is because you need to adjust the support so it sits flush up to the top part of your deck, and it's a nice snug fit and nothing's crooked and you're not getting cross thread, especially into these brass inserts. So you want to leave this piece loose so it's adjustable. So let's get this top decking on. I was saying the next step you want to do is you want to put your panel on top of the verticals in the center vertical structure, and there's a gasket on the bottom side of this there and on there. You want to make sure that that gasket is seated correctly, and you want to remove your stash bin covers so you can get it up on here and line it up and get everything where it's needed to be. Get everything seated where it needs to go. And it'll just fall into place where it needs to be. Basically get it to line up. This may throw you off, but this deck itself overhangs past this because this is your vertical support. And you want to get these brass inserts lined up with these holes here, 1 and 2. And that's how you know where it has to sit. There we go, it's falling into place. And then see where that support is? That's where your tie downs go, which tie into underneath here, so you have a metal-to-metal connection, if you can see that. So that's your tie down points that you can mount. And then here, they give you 4 tie downs to begin with. You can mount it in the 4 corners, which most people do, or you can put them here in the center, but they give you blanks with these, or you can order 4 more, whatever you want, and actually have 8 tie down points. That kind of gives you an idea, general idea where it has to be sitting. You can see my brass inserts are here in the back, and I'm gonna get these lined up and then get everything, and you got 1 more back here in the back. Get everything lined up, and then I'm gonna start putting some hardware in the top, and then I'll come down here and I'll make sure everything's tight underneath. And this will put this whole one piece together. Repeat the process on the other side for your right side. Same thing, but do not screw this together because basically we have to pick this up, get it into the truck. Same thing once I get everything tightened over here with the deck itself on top, then everything in the center of it's all gonna go into the truck. And then from there on, it's just putting your drawers together and some miscellaneous hardware and stuff like that. So it's pretty simple. And we do have this waterproof thing here in the back that needs to go on back here as well, which is part of how they got this new setup here to help keep the new drawer system more watertight, and that's your backer plate. So that needs to go on back here, which will show you that here shortly. And just remember when you're setting these, they actually give you a label, left side, right side. That one's upside down. Should we bust their chops about it? Come on, deck, put it the right way up. No need teasing. We can read backwards. But now we're gonna just finish tightening down this side. Then the next step will be putting in some D-rings, which kind of ties some things together. And then we're gonna start installing this. Their next steps is in doing the drawers and like getting some hardware put together. But I normally like to get this in the truck to make sure I order the right one, which I know I did. But I can do the drawer stuff later. I kind of just like to get this whole system put into the truck and then the drawers. One little tip too, because everything's kind of labeled bolts, but your 3/8 bolts that you're gonna be running into tying your verts to the top panel, you want to use the stainless steel version because they have other ones that are not stainless steel. So these ones up here, you want to make sure they're stainless steel. And these are the same ones that you'll be using in the center here, which is stainless steel because it's more acceptable to water and all that stuff so they don't rust. The other hardware is whatever material it is, but I've never had anything really, visually see rust on these drawers all the time. So just want to let you guys know, you want to use the stainless steel ones, tying these 6 corners in, so 4 corners in, so you got 6 here, 6 here, and then you'll have 14 here to tie the center together. So if you're looking through your hardware, you should have 20 stainless steel versions of these. Step is installing your D-rings, which you have your hardware. I'm going to put them on the 4 corners. You got a spacer block you got to stick underneath there. That allows it to spin around, basically. And then you got your bolt and washer. You just work that through, and you just need to use a 3/16 Allen key. And tighten them down. And then the ones in the middle, they give you washers that you just blink the holes off in the middle, which I started these 2 here. But we're just going to tighten these down. And you can see that keeps everything loose, keeps it sturdy so you can move them around, and nothing is hard to get these D-rings. That's one good thing about these D-rings, that you can get to them real easy. So do that in all 4 corners, guys. And I did see a note, I was talking before about having 14 stainless steel bolts down the middle. If you have a short bed, it's only going to be 12, but being I have a longer bed, it's 14. So we are going to get this panel snapped into the back of the center vert. All you got to do with this back piece is literally just hook it into the slots, kind of bang it down, and you can see it goes into there, it goes into there, and that just keeps some of that intrusion to come through. So we're going to slide this into the truck now. Let's get rolling putting it in. So one thing you're going to want to do too is make sure your bed's nice and clean before you put this stuff in there, because you don't want to start with a mess before you end up with a mess later on. So just slide this in there. And yes, there is going to be a gap between your bed and your tailgate itself. That is normal. If you guys never seen deck before, that is normal. Even with the tailgate up, you can never get the drawers open enough to actually get your hand in there to steal anything. So don't freak out if you're saying, wow, it's short. That's normal, guys. So now goes the rest of it. This is where they tell you to have 2 people. This is where I say, if you possibly physically can do it, just man up and get it in your bed and slide it in there, guys. But if you are physically challenged, then get a buddy to help you. But I just slide it in, work it past the wheel well. And pick it up and get in there and work it around. It helps if you don't have the ladder out. Before I tighten anything down, I like to get both of them in there, get it situated and easy, tighten down the middle, and then we anchor it to the tie downs in your truck itself. It looks like I got the right one. So once you get it in your bed, get everything situated, everything evenly spaced, everything sitting the way it should. I know some truck beds, they require spacer blocks like on the bed itself, but you basically use your center vert, center down one of your ribs and get everything positioned in your truck right, square it up, and then you tighten up the top there with those other stainless steel 3/8 bolts. So let me get everything situated so you guys don't have to watch the boring stuff. Make sure everything sits nice and the way I want it, then we're going to tighten it down. So it's definitely important that you don't tighten down those center screws because they are brass inserts. Do not use a power tool. Either use a driver drill with a clutch or just do it with a ratchet, and just don't over tighten it, because even with a ratchet you can just strip them out, just snug them up. That's all you got to do. It has a gasket on it. And now we're just going to make sure that we are pretty much centered from side to side. We're going to start installing the anchors, which are just basically buckles. Just read your instructions because they do have different sizes based on location of where you're going to tie it down. Now I have a 2023 long bed 1500 Trail Boss, so you know yours may be different, so you just got to read your instructions for that. But we're going to put these turnbuckles in. I'm not going to go into detail with these. All you got to do is just take your nut, get them loose, spread this out basically. You turn them in opposite directions. It basically spreads them out. And once you got some spread on there, you hook them to your tie downs on your bed, then the point on the deck system. You tighten them up, take a wrench or a screwdriver, you can stick it in there and really tighten down it. Then you take these nuts and you just tighten up to them, and that's what locks it in place. So we're gonna do that now and get that part done on the truck. Like I said, I'm not gonna bore you with that. It's just read your instructions and you're just tying your deck system to the bed of your truck. So we'll be back in a moment, guys. So we are all tied down now. This thing ain't moving anywhere, and you can see here's the turnbuckle. You attach it to a hole up in there, and then you attach it to your tie down. You tighten this up, and then you tighten up your lock nuts when you're all said and done. You don't have to go super crazy, just snug it up, and it keeps this whole system centered and put together in your truck, and that's what keeps it from moving around. Now overall, where we're at right now, to get this in the truck from the beginning to the end, you know, this part here, it shouldn't take you any longer than 30 minutes, if that, to get this part done. Overall, I mean, you should be able to get this deck drawer system done in about an a little over an hour and a half max, maybe some people 2 hours, but it's a pretty quick install. Let's get into doing the drawers next. And one little thing you have to do with the drawers, with these longer drawers, I'll show you here, I'll get it up here on the deck, is that right here, there's the brace for these longer drawers. And they give you hardware, you can see right there and there, that you just got to do some actual screw them in to help these supports. And that's in your instructions, and that's just one little extra step with the longer drawers over not having the short drawers. But your next step is putting your corner pieces on, your crossbars, your wheels, and then we'll get it set in. And I have a little tip here, that's why I have that little clamp right there, and I'll show you in a minute when you put in your drawers. You want to put these brackets in so that your wheels thread into this here. It goes in here, it says right and left side, and you do 3/4 bolt and nuts on the bottom and 1.5 inches on the top. So like I was saying, your 3/4 go here on the bottom, your 1.5 inches goes up top, and then you use a 3/4 from the back side here to put in your tube brace, which I'll show you that step next. But I'm gonna get these other ones in here and then the tube brace, and we'll tighten these all up. And then you got your 3/4 from the back side, you put your tube brace in, and basically just screwed into that on the back side. And this tightens and stiffens up the back side of the drawer. Okay, drawer's ready to go in. Once we put the wheels on it, and you have to get your wheel kit next and put your back wheels on. So in your wheel kit, you got a small and a big wheel, and you got a Allen key stainless steel hardware, and I think it's 7/32 Allen key is needed, and you just screw that into the back threaded part right here. So the big wheels go in the back. Put that on all the back corners of your drawers. You used to have a T-handle one, I guess I lost that one. So the big wheels go in the back. Snug that down, and it's like a set of rollerblades. So now we're able to set the one drawer in. The one drawer comes with the handle pre-installed, the other one doesn't. Never really figured out why. I don't know if it's a packaging thing, or they want you to learn how to put the spring in and everything, you have to change it. But you slide one in. Now this is where the clamp thing I have comes into effect, because you either got to jam a block of wood underneath that drawer to pull it up so you can get the two inner wheels in, you know, the two front wheels. But what I do is use a clamp to suck it up. Gets it tight to the bottom, and now you can stick the front wheels on, which you have to get underneath there and screw into those. So we're going to do that next. So now we're going to take the smaller wheels and get these screwed in underneath this drawer while I have it sucked up with the clamp. Start it by hand so you don't cross thread it. And it's a little tight, so you have to have a little patience to do this. It's not bad with that clamp holding it up, but you just want to start it with your fingers so you're not cross threading it. And get it in as far as you can so you're not sitting underneath there with your Allen keys trying to do this. Okay, one drawer installed. Alright guys, we repeated the process to get this other drawer in, but now this is the drawer that we actually have to install the handle in. Like I said, I'm not sure why they do that. I don't know if it's for shipping purposes, for the hand, you know, for the drawers to stack inside each other, or they want you to learn how to actually do this handle if you ever have to change the springs. So we're gonna do that step next. So there's two springs. You got one that's marked, it's like painted red. Red is for right, and the other one is for your left side. But you want these to go in through these setup here, which I'll show you here. You want this longer part like facing in, and this straight little part facing down towards you. So there's little cavities up in here that you want to slide this spring up inside to, into, and then push this clevis through just enough to hold the spring and not put it all the way through like that. And then the handle is going to go up inside there and grab these front of these springs, and you'll see how this all goes together. It's pretty simple. May take you a few times to figure it out, but like I said, I've done this so many times, I'm kind of used to it. So let's get that handle in there next. What there is there's a little indentation in the front of this handle, which you can see in the instructions. And that grabs that little part of the pin that was in the front that sticks out. You see my fingers all red from the spring, and that little indentation grabs that, and you kind of push it back, and that gives you your spring-loaded effect. And you just stick the little clevis pins in those holes, and that's it. Your drawer is put together. So all that's left now is putting your ruler on across the top here. You got a support here at the bottom, metal support. It kind of keeps this all tied together with your deck logo here in the middle, and then our weather stripping on the doors or drawers. And then we have, like I said, the weather stripping here we got put on. Really just put our stash bins in and some other items, and this thing is done, guys. And I'll kind of show you what comes in the box as far as accessories from deck and the other ones I purchased. Just follow your instructions, but the Allen key heads with the coarse thread, which threads into the plastic, goes for your ruler. Then you got 3/8 coarse thread that threads into the plastic bottom. And this is important because you're threading in the plastic. Do not over tighten. Just use hand tools with this or the appropriate setting on your drill driver. But we're going to put everything in here up top for the ruler by hand. Just got to get it started into that plastic. What I normally do is get them all started and then snug it down without over tightening it. Now we just got these self-threading ones here for the bottom, which we're going to use an actual driver with the clutch on it. Don't over tighten them, and that is it. Now just the gaskets on the drawers and a few little other things. And as far as your weather stripping, you have basically almost like a windshield wiper part, and then you got the flat part, and you got the part that goes on your drawer. This part here you want to stick towards your cab, so you want like kind of the upright strip here facing towards your cab, and that's what keeps it watertight. And you just work it onto the drawer, push it down, work it across, make sure it's all the way level all the way across. And that's it, guys. That's your weather stripping. So you want to make sure this little wiper blade part, that's what I'm going to call it, facing towards the cab. So they give you these plugs for where the locks go. The locks are an accessory slash option. Now last time I put these in, I did get the locks because I was leaving my tailgate down a lot for hauling the kayak, but now that I have a trailer for that, I'm not worried about putting locks in these. So you give you these plugs to put in these holes. And it's got a little American flag logo on it because, you know, when your tailgate is up and locked, if you have a lockable tailgate, now you have an older model, your drawers are going to be inaccessible. If somebody gets in there, that's about as far as you're going to be able to open those drawers. So you're not going to be able to get to anything. So we're just plugging the holes. Same thing with our stash bins. We're just going to plug these holes. Last time I got locks, but really what I kept up in here was just straps and stuff. So if somebody gets into my stash bins and want to take my straps, they need them more than I do. So we didn't bother spending the extra money on getting locks. We're just going to plug all these holes this time and be done with them. So what comes with the deck system when you purchase it with the accessories, they give you 2 deep and 2 shallow stash bins. Obviously the shallow ones are for going by your wheel well, and I'll show you here. So you can see your wheel wells in there. So obviously the deep one won't fit there, so you stick your shallow one in and your deep one next to it, and then put your lid on. So they give you enough to do the front, but I purchased more to do the back. So for another set of shallow and another set of deep, it's an additional $50, which I think is worth it, to be able to have stash bins with the organizers, you know, separators, in all four corners in my opinion. They also comes with one drawer organizer, a new box, smaller box, a new bigger box, and also dividers that clip in and hold you in place. I also purchased for like 25 bucks or 35 bucks, I think, I forgot what it is, I think 35, is another drawer organizer. Because for me, this space here, like say if you had something there, you have pretty much wasted space, and obviously if you don't have anything tall enough against that, it really won't hold it. So to me, having the availability to put more stuff in there and keep the drawer organizers in the front, I like that. So, you know, being I'm doing, this is just the install video, I am going to do a separate video for the changes from Gen 1 to Gen 2 in a separate video, because I don't want to put the install video and the changes together one video. It's just so much for people to watch at one time. But that's what comes with this set. That is your install. We're going to add the other stash bins in the back and covers, which we can get from the front with that little void between my rack. And that is your install. Now there's one thing they do give you as an option, is replacement bolts for your tailgate, particularly for, I guess, the Chevy, because this tailgate kind of goes up on a slight angle. So the drawers do rub, and I noticed when I had these short bed ones before, it rubbed just a little bit, but once I added weight, it just rubs a little bit. You can kind of hear it. Kind of see it, but depending on how much weight I put in these drawers will depend if I change these out. And what that does is allow you to have this tailgate, I guess, go a little bit more down without affecting the engineering to it, and let the tailgate drop a little bit more so these drawers are not rubbing on your tailgate. I'm up in the air if I'm going to change these or not. I guess we'll see in due time, but it's just literally replacing these bolts, which they give you in a separate hardware here. I see what it is. It's a thinner thread, and then the head tapers down, so it allows this cable to just drop just a little bit more, just enough to have the tailgate miss these drawers. So that's an option. You can do it or not if you need it. I mean, I guess over time these drawers rubbing on this tailgate will probably, you know, wear into the drawers, wear into your tailgate, so it's probably a good thing to change. But you'll see that in your instructions. It may just be particularly for the Chevys or certain tailgates that don't drop. So we'll probably end up changing them anyway, just because, just what I said, probably over time it's going to wear through this and, you know, leave wear marks on your tailgate cover here and also on your drawers on the bottom side. So there is your finished product, guys. Everything is all installed, everything's sealed up, and you can see how wide of a platform it gives you now because you're sitting over the wheel wells, and you still have plenty of height here to be able to tie things down with the new tie downs that are on top. But like I said, I'll go over another video of the changes from Gen 1 to Gen 2. But I love these deck drawer systems. It keeps you lockable and watertight. It's badass, guys. So all right, guys, that's the install of the Gen 2 deck drawer system in my long bed Chevy 1500. Like I said, I will have a separate video going over in detail the changes from Gen 1 to Gen 2 and tell you if it's worth the investment to upgrade to the Gen 2 over the Gen 1. So that'll be a totally separate video. I didn't want to make this video too long and have people suffer through it. So I hope this video helped some of you with the install between Deck's video, the instructions, and me doing it. Hopefully showing you a little tip with the drawers. And I just hope it helps you guys out. That's why we're out here doing this YouTube stuff for you. So as always, guys, I appreciate you stopping by. As always, be safe on the water, and I'll catch you on the water. And stay tuned for that review video going over the difference between the two Gen 1 and Gen 2 deck drawer system. Oh, and don't forget to register your product. Lifetime warranty for your normal wear and tear. So this thing will be with you for life. Register it up. All right, guys, see you later.